The Bonhoeffer Project takes Christian leaders and helps them become disciple makers. That's like the big picture of it. The process of it is it's 10-month investment and for the pastor to learn and understand what is the gospel, what is a disciple, and how do I clearly and concisely teach and train people within my own church.
I would say it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. It's one of the best things I've ever done for my ministry.
It was important for me because I didn't know this at the time, but I had some misconceptions about some of the fundamentals, even biblically, even having been a Bible college graduate and hadn't been in ministry for over 30 years, of really recognizing what the gospel was.
I didn't have an actual plan that I could articulate on how we make disciples. We kind of did it by osmosis. Hang out with us long enough and maybe you'll catch Jesus.
Studies show that 98% of churches aren't or don't have an intentional plan for making disciples. And if that's the mission and we don't have a plan for it, then we as church leaders, we're failing the church.
A lot of times we just kind of go through the motions of setting up programs and ministries without ever really stopping to ask, how does this particular ministry lead to growing more disciples, or growing disciples who make disciples?
It's given me a tangible pathway that I had to investigate and learn for myself.
It just multiplies leaders, it multiplies the influence of the kingdom, even in our local area.
So we developed a plan at North Point on how we can intentionally make disciples who are going to make disciples. And it fit who we are in the context of where we are.
For the first time, maybe ever since I've done ministry, I've got a really good answer to the question of, what is the gospel? When we say we preach the gospel, what do we mean? And I know exactly what it means at Restore for us to be about the gospel.
We're focusing in not on necessarily Sunday morning where a lot of our energy was going, but most of our energy now is directed towards discipleship.
I believe this process, the Bonhoeffer Project, is for any church leader and specifically lead pastors. We think that, we'll have a discipleship pastor that will do that. This is only going to, I believe, take hold in our churches if lead pastors are willing to take this serious.
It's a benefit for anybody in ministry or in leadership, but especially in that senior role.
Certainly every lead pastor, I would also say every associate pastor, youth minister, anybody that's in the vocational ministry for sure.
It was the best investment I've ever made in myself and in the life of my church, bar none.
I should have done it a long time ago. I wish I would have done it a long time ago. I can't imagine now doing ministry without the Bonhoeffer Project.